What's going on, folks? Ted from Immersion here, and I am back with another 2C gaming product, and now this one is a little bit different. If you have always thought to yourself, I wish there was more dragons in Dungeons and Dragons. I wish we had a book about dragons that gave us a little more insight into the design of them, a little more so than Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, then you might want to check out Dragonflight. Now, I do have a PDF copy, so we're going to look at it, but not only is this basically designed to allow you to play as a dragon in 5th edition, it has a whole set of rules and a level 1 to 20 dragon class with 3 dragon-based subclasses. It also provides a lot of really good, interesting information about kind of physiology of dragons. It has things like dragon feats and dragon magic items and all sorts of stuff like that, which honestly, that's what I would have loved. That's what reminds me a lot of the original Draconomicon, which we did not get in Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, was just like stuff to trick out your dragons. And then it also has some stuff in here about, again, epic level dragons to allow you to play in 2C Gaming's Epic Legacy content and bring dragons into that. And then also has in the very back a bunch of dragons, just like named specific dragons for you to throw into your game. So, again, a huge shout out and a thank you to 2C Gaming for sponsoring this video. And look, you guys drove the number up even more since the last time. So keep doing what you're doing. So let's go ahead and dive in. By the way, I will have links in the video description as well as the pinned comment to pick up a copy of Dragonflight if you are interested. Again, PDF has bookmarks, so we're starting off pretty good there. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we're looking at. We're at 191 pages here. Oh, I should point out, there is also a Dragonflight DM screen as well. So again, you're obviously going to have, which has beautiful art on it, by the way. Let me just zoom back out to show you this real quick. I mean, the art is fantastic. And then the inside has, because you're going to have a whole bunch of specific stuff for playing as dragons and things of that nature, it's got all of the stuff you need, all contained inside in the DM screen. All right, excuse me, back to the table of contents. So here it is broken down pretty much into 7 chapters. So let's skip ahead a little bit and talk about the different chapters, and I'll kind of give you an idea. So chapter 1 is sort of the skeleton of a dragon. It says here, defining dragons. You'll need to make decisions informed by information in this chapter, chapter 1 here. It not only showcases the many types of dragons this book supports, but also explores biology and physiology. Chapter 2 is the designer section here. So it says basically whether you're forming a humble wormling or a ferocious great worm, you can find tools to support you. To aid in this process, we offer a dragon class model, which again is a level 1 to 20 class. It has a variety of different things like how do you determine a dragon's size? Can you have smaller dragons of a different age category? And I like the way they handle this actually quite a bit in here. They base the dragon's size off its constitution modifier. So if you have a low constitution, you could still be a very small ancient dragon. It's just your constitution modifier is lower. 3 is running a game with dragons, right? Because it's obviously going to be drastically different than running your base level 5th edition campaign. And it gives you rules for running it. And this is something I would say, because you're so overpowered not overpowered, but you are quite powerful as a dragon, that this would work very well as a solo campaign idea where you're DM, one player, and that would allow you to be relatively able to solo a lot of that content, meaning your DM could probably run pre-existing campaigns with you as the sole player, and you'll actually be able to handle it. They also have rules for 3-player characters, which is called a Dragonflight when there's a group of 3 dragons. Chapter 4 is all about hordes, territories, and lairs. As we know, dragons have hordes, and then we also know they have regional actions and lair actions, and this kind of helps you build out all of that stuff and associate things with it. Chapter 5 is, again, society and culture of dragons. How would a dragon feel about something? This also deals a little bit with like how dragons worship different gods and things of that nature. Chapter 6 is to take Dragonflight and all this stuff into the epic level content and level 21 plus content for 20 plus, I should say, for the epic legacy related stuff. We've talked about those in other videos. And then again, chapter 7 is just some stat blocks of a variety of different new kinds of dragons, as well as things all the way down to cute little wormlings and whatnot. So I can't go through this entire book. I mean, we're already 5 minutes into the video and we've only just covered the chapters, the table of contents. So I want to kind of jump around. I'll kind of skim through the first chapter. I think we're probably going to focus a lot on the second chapter where we talk about like show off some of the aspects of the different classes. Excuse me, of the class itself. So let's dive into chapter 1. So it talks about what is a dragon, how do you define a true dragon. We also have fantastic art, as you can see throughout the book. Different body type. Even this is just really nice to have, which I don't think we had in Fizzbands either. Posturing, right? You would see this kind of stuff if you think about like with a dog, where you'd be like, is it, you know, their tail up, tail between their legs, things of that nature. You can see the different sort of stances to give you an idea of how are you interacting with this dragon that you see. If you just see it from a distance or see it from, you know, and not sure, not be able to speak with it or whatever, you can kind of get a feeling like, okay, if it's laying down and its belly's exposed, it's probably pretty chill. But if its wings are up in sort of an aggressive stance and it's curled its neck around and baring its teeth, yeah, it's probably angry. All right, so we can kind of skip through a lot of the physiology stuff here. We talk about the different, was it weight by the size category? Again, we're showing a breakdown of the skeleton as well as the musculature, the different organs that are important within a dragon, diet, metabolism, different stages of life. And then here are the different species that are covered, which is kind of the things I wanted to touch on. So we have chromatics, right? But we also have expanded chromatic information here, like brown, orange, purple, and yellow dragons. We have metallic dragons, but we also have expansions in here as well with adamantine, quicksilver, steel, and steel dragons. We also have gem dragons as well. We also cover in here obsidian dragons. And then we have orchid dragons, are basically like a weird sort of plant dragon mixture, which is pretty cool, that I really enjoy these ones quite a bit. And they kind of have toxic pheromones as sort of one of their unique traits. So carnation, lily, lotus, paradise, and rose dragons. Oh, and sun dragons. Then we have unique dragons. So we have a Dracotholid, Lithid, which is a brain eater dragon. It specifically states, created when a brain infected parasite. So this is not to be confused with an elder brain dragon, which we've seen in Fizzbands, which is where a mind flayer hive transplants an elder brain onto the back of a dragon so that the elder brain now has access and control of the dragon and can now be mobile as opposed to being stuck in its tank. A Dracotholid is a dragon that has undergone ceramorphosis and kind of become a mind flayer version of a dragon. We have feral dragons, imperial dragons. We also have song dragons, one of my personal favorite types of dragons. We have wild dragons. Look at the art for this. It's also fantastic. And then we kind of move into chapter 2 where we're talking about the actual characters itself. So we give a little bit here about our starting types, right? So I will tell you that it says it prefers that you go with point buy as your method of generating stats. And the reason why is as your dragon increases in size or age category, rather, you basically are just pumping up your stats continually because dragons are usually quite powerful. So first thing you do, choose your species of true dragon, and that will give you a couple of things. It'll it has to possess a breath weapon, the ability to fly, and advances as it ages. You get to increase 2 of your different ability scores by 2 right out the gate. You get access to a breath weapon, which has a reroll of a 5/6. You get an energy type associated with your dragon, as well as immunity to said energy type, and alignment, size, and speed. Then we kind of roll into, again, we can pick a backstory, what we're obsessed with. We are dragons after all. Lineage, and then here is the size category, as I was saying. So based on your constitution score, determines how big your dragon is. So with a 1 to 11 constitution, your dragon is small. With a 12 to 17, we're talking medium size, which is a relatively reasonable place to start, especially if you're getting a +2 to 2 ability scores right out the gate. But it could obviously go all the way up to gargantuan and even larger with the immense size dragons here. And this is the start of our sort of stat block, right? 2d12 hit points per level, 24 plus twice your constitution modifier at first level. And then again, at hit points, we get 2d12 plus twice our con mod for every level after first. Again, because we are a dragon. And then here is sort of our table of what we get as our class levels up. So you can see here we have a breath, weapon, damage, and range, and that kind of scales all the way up, as well as our estimated challenge rating, which also is something, again, if you think about this, you don't necessarily need to build this if you want to run a game for people looking to play a dragon. You can, obviously, and it's designed and catered that way, but this is a fun way for you to basically build a dragon to use in your campaign as an enemy without having to try to give an existing dragon stat block class levels. This is kind of doing this and telling you, hey, if you get your dragon that you've built to 10th level, it's probably around a challenge rating 11. And you can see you get a variety of things as we level up. So you get Constitution, Wisdom, and Charisma saving throws. You get 1 skill. And then at age category 1, which is Wormling, you increase 4 of your ability scores of your choice by 1. The same ability score can be increased multiple times, because, again, we're building out a dragon. Your maximum for any ability score as a Wormling is 21. You get Claw, Bite, and Tail attacks. You get a natural AC of 17. Blind Sight after 10 feet and Dark Vision after 60 feet. And it says, while you may grow in power through combat experience, you cannot advance in level to 7th level. You cannot advance to 7th level until you reach the next age category, becoming a young dragon. To advance your age category, you must be 6th level and have a horde upon which your entire form can rest comfortably. Equivalent in value to the entire holdings of a wealthy noble. The DM determines this, so your advancement isn't just based on levels and experience, it's also based on the size of the horde, and in theory, in that aspect, the draconic power you have gathered. So we can see we get a variety of things as we level up. Here's our power DC, our cunnings and things. Here's a little bit about horde that's explained more in the 4th chapter. At level 2, we get to choose our dragon paradigm, which is essentially our subclass. We have Arcanist, Knight, and Imperator. Arcanist is basically a caster-based dragon. Knight is sort of a physical brute-style dragon. Again, I say brute, that's a little bit of a harsh terminology, as it is a knight, so it's following a code. And then the Imperator is sort of your mastermind, sort of tactician dragon. You can see you do get ability score improvements, although they're at different levels than we would normally expect. We get multi-attack that scales up as we level. We can get access to Draconic Feats, which are separate from the ability score improvements. Again, at 7th level, you get to increase to Young category, which does 4 different ability scores by 2. Maximum for an ability score is 25. Natural AC is 18. Your senses extend, and then again, we have the same sort of age restriction. If we meet those qualifiers and hit to 13, increase 4 different ability scores by 1. Our maximum ability score is 28. We have an AC of 19. We now have access to our Frightful Presence. And it says, for a solo character, meaning not in a group if you're doing the Dragonflight option or as an NPC, you will get access to Legendary Dragon, which will give you legendary actions and legendary resistance. There is also different options and things for generating and coming up with different legendary actions within this book. If you're part of a Dragonflight or creating an NPC as part of a Dragonflight, you gain the following benefits. This is, again, Dragonflight Foundling. We're not going to be talking too much about that. And then lastly, we have our Ancient category here. 3 ability scores of your choice by 2. Maximum ability score is 30. Normal AC is 21. You get expanded legendary actions. It says if you're the only character at your game table or creating an NPC, you learn 2 legendary actions for which you meet the prerequisites. And then again, expanded Dragonflight formations if you find yourself in such a way. So Arcanist, as you can see here, is basically going to get access to a spell list that is based off of Charisma. Here is the said spell list. And they also get some additional things. They also use a spell point system, which I do appreciate because they're supposed to be very strong. And this gives you a lot more versatility and what you can and can't do. And it shows off the different spell points by level and how much the different spell levels are to cast. And then we also have additional options that we can do on top of just spellcasting, right? Arcane Jaws. When you hit with a bite attack, you can spend spell points to basically increase the damage, almost like a Divine Smite. Spell Flurry. Mystical Heritage, allowing us to change our shape. And then again, giving possibly some other options. And then continuing to build out our Draconic Magician sort of abilities here. You can see that the Knight is sort of, again, a very physically tough and brutal brawler type here. Again, advantage on attacks with your natural weapons. Natural weapons deal extra damage equal to your proficiency bonus. Advantage on saving throws against sort of physical-based conditions. But you cannot communicate verbally. Because this is what happens when you enter into a Primal Fury, which is essentially a form of Dragon Rage. But you don't have to do that. Then they also have a code that they abide by, and the different aspects of whether it be code of the Predator, the Shaper, or the Sentinel provides different abilities for you at each of the various levels as you level up. And then lastly, again, we have the Imperator, the sort of tactical genius one, which has a bunch of different, almost like a bard style rogue ability. We have a bunch of different increased sort of skill based interactions, researching flaws in enemy attacks. You also get a servant at 10th level, a dragon sworn servant. You attract a humanoid follower enamored with your draconic power and influence called a dragon sworn. It's a bodyguard agent and adjutant. I don't know if that's pronouncing that right. Wrapped into one and imbued with powerful draconic magic. So you can see that they also have some abilities here. And then here are our legendary action options, which we have some that we are already familiar with from the Monster Manual, bite, move. But then there are some new ones in here as well. Some of them tied to the specific ones you are. For example, the Arcanist paradigm, you cast a spell. The Imperator is command. You utter a command to an ally within 60 feet until the end of its next turn. It makes an attack roll or ability check. It rolls a d4, basically giving it almost like bless. Deep Breath costs 3 legendary actions, recharges your breath weapon. We have Overpowering Assault. This is for the knight. You gather your strength into a single mighty blow. The next attack you make, next time you make an attack with one of your natural weapons, it deals double damage on a successful hit. And then again, here's a little bit more about the Dragonflight formations. Again, a group of 3 dragons together and what the different options they can do when all working together. And then we roll into feats for dragons. Again, channel breath, let's see, right? Use your breath weapon. You can choose to channel it. When you do so, you continue to exhale your breath weapon into the affected area for 1 minute or until you become incapacitated. On each of your turns, while you exhale in this manner, you must use your action to continue the effort. When you do so, you cannot take any other actions. Additionally, you change the orientation of your breath weapon when you move on your turn, subjecting any creatures caught in the effect that have not been affected by your breath weapon that turn to the breath weapon's effects. Once you have used this breath weapon in this manner, you must finish a long rest before you can do it again. Because you're basically continually providing your breath weapon in a certain particular area. Let's see. How about chameleon scales, right? As a bonus action, you can make yourself lightly obscured for as long as you remain in the space in which you took the action. As an action, you can make yourself invisible for as long as you remain in the space in which you took the action, and you can change the color of your scales to reflect your mood for free. Obviously, you can attune to different, like I said, there's a divine attunement there if you wanted to be more of a divine-based arcanist. Let's keep scrolling here and see what else we've got. We got stats for and price associated with a variety of different options for draconic armor. How about Dragon Song? You are proficient in performance. As an action, you begin singing a magical dragon song. Every non-dragon creature of your choice within 300 feet must make a charisma saving throw equal to your dragon save DC or become cursed for you as long as you continue to sing. While cursed in this manner, a creature takes psychic damage equal to your character's level each time it takes an attack or makes an attack or casts a spell. On each of your turns, you must use a bonus action to continue singing. So it's kind of adding some sort of bardic abilities there to the dragons. So again, there's things tied to specific dragon types. Right here's Ruby Facet for the gem dragons. Sharp and pointy. This is just, your body is just arrayed with a variety of different spikes. Creatures have disadvantage on strength ability checks against you. When you're hit by a melee attack, you can use your reaction to deal damage equal to half the damage you took from the attacker, and your natural weapons inflict horrific wounds that leave permanent scars if they're healed. So continuing on, here is again our section here talking all about what it's like to run a game for a character that is so powerful. Talking about what you need to talk through in the session 0 as well. And then again, talking about the different steps through character creation. And then again, a nice section here just about crafting the adventure. So, like I said, this is the kind of degree of customizability that I want, right? I can use this to play a campaign where I play a group of dragons and let my players actually enjoy the experience of playing a dragon. Or play it again with somebody who wants to do, like if my 5-year-old wants to play a game and it's just him and he wants to play and he wants to have a lot of fun, he says he wants to play a dragon, I have an option for that. But like I said, what I'll probably end up using it for is if I want to make a named dragon in my world that's like a big, well-known dragon that's like an important facet of everything, then I'm going to use this and I'm going to make that dragon specifically. I'm going to roll its stats and I'm going to do the whole thing up as opposed to just grabbing a stat block from the Monster Manual or some later book. Again, a section here on building different encounters and XP thresholds and things. Again, here's our XP chart for advancement of a dragon. And then there are also options for special rewards for dragons, showing off again here some, whether they be things that the dragon will place in their lair, like a fountain of healing, or perhaps different armor types and things of that nature that will allow the dragon to sneak around amongst people if they don't have access to those kind of abilities. And you want to generate a horde for your dragon, rather than using the table found in the Dungeon Master's Guide, this has a whole section about how sort of value-wise to build a horde. And this is coming again from the dragon perspective as opposed to the DM perspective. Like, hey, I want to build out this really cool young dragon. Let's figure out what its horde is. And we have a whole bunch of tables along with additional fantasy gemstones and metals that you can see here that can provide a variety of different options. You can also add your own from your homebrew world there. And then again, here are some precious materials as well. A variety of different options that again can be used. Again, created by 2C Gaming, you can use in your game if you so choose. And then again, magic items by rarity, a very simple and easy to understand table that you can go ahead and do in. All right, lair locations, right? What kind of things are going to happen to the region, depending on the size and age of your dragon. Territorial markings. Again, there's just a lot. There's just so much information in this book. Like I said, I don't feel like I can really do it justice. Again, we talked a little bit about the society and how dragons perceive things. Divine ranks, dragon culture, providing again, serving different dragon deities. Here's the stuff again, epic dragons. This is all about bringing dragons into the Epic Legacy series. But I do want to skip ahead real quick before we end this video to Chapter 7, where we can talk a little bit about some of the really cool rare species of dragons. The one that I really want to show off is, I think, the next one. This Verdant Dragon. This one is just so awesome to me because it's got like almost like moth wings with the big eye patterns on the inside, and these guys are just so awesome. They're a tree-style dragon, right? Immense, indescribably majestic and gentle creatures, verdant dragons are the embodiment of nature itself. So here we have the Wormling. So let's just see what the Wormling stat block looks like, right? Challenge rating 4, it has camouflage, right, to hide amongst natural terrain. Green Walker can move through solid plants and organic material as though it was difficult terrain. It ends its turn inside a plant and is shunted to the nearest unoccupied space. It has a bite attack, does piercing damage, it has Healer's Touch, touches a creature within 15 feet, and they gain D6 hit points. And then we have Viridian Breath, that recharges on a 5 to 6. It exhales a wave of green wind in a 15-foot cone. Each creature in that area must make a con save or take 5d10 radiant damage. On a failed save or half on a success, creatures of the dragon's choice affected by the breath weapon can instead take no damage and heal 5d10 hit points. I really like the Verdant Dragons a lot. Just the design, the whole, like, the eyes on the wing pattern just really sealed it for me. We have, again, our Sigil Dragons. We have a Bookwormling, which I thought was a really good one. It's a bookworm. And then we have, again, specific named dragons here as we continue to scroll through epic creatures that are in the challenge ratings of the high 20s, high 30s that you could use as, again, villains in your Epic Legacy campaign, or perhaps something to utilize in your own homebrew world if you need sort of an end game boss for your game. And then again, I'm not going to really dive into them too much, but we also do have epic level spells here as well for our dragons to use. Or I guess player characters in theory as well. And then our sort of updated character sheet to sort of provide the extra room. You're going to need more than a standard. You could probably put it all on a standard 5e character sheet, but I'd recommend using this because it has the subsequent sheets for determining your dragon lineage. And then again, horde territories, all that kind of stuff as you continue to build your character out. So anyway, that is my quick review of Dragonflight by 2C Gaming. Like I said, I wish I had gotten this book a little bit earlier because anytime I want to now build a dragon in my campaigns going forward, I think I'm going to use this and just build them out as a true dragon class dragon. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below, and I will see you all next time.